podcast and YouTube blog covering the German startup scene with news, interviews, and live events.
This is Joe from Startuprad.io, your startup podcast and YouTube blog from Germany. This is the recording of the November news. We are very close to end of November, and we're bringing you the news once again with Christian from New York. Hey, mate, how you doing?
Hi, awesome, as always.
I'm doing awesome. That is pretty good. We heard the usual background noise from you, but that's just authentic New York. This recording is in media cooperation with our friends at Gründer Metropole Berlin. Sponsoring message: Startups.observer supports this program. Startups Observer is like online dating for startups and investors. It is by far the easiest and most efficient way to research potential investment candidates or look for potential investors. Learn more at Startups.observer. The ecosystem. Christian?
Well, yeah, one of the first things we found was by KfW, Kreditanstalt für Wiederaufbau, which is one of the most important institutions in Germany to finance startups. And they came up with a story saying that startups are not for 20-somethings anymore. So every sixth founder in Germany is older than 50 years old, reports Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung. And in 2017, approximately 60,000 startups had been founded in Germany altogether. Then we see that Berlin is kind of on the rise as a global startup city. They made it to number 12 in the global venture capital ranking. It takes more than $1 billion US dollars to make it even into the top 50. Surprises are included. For example, cities like Salt Lake City at number 50, or Durham, USA, Provo, USA. So we might also think that there could be a little US bias in the data because, as always, those statistics are hard to collect. Then we have the German government and corporate-backed venture capital fund, HTGF, which marked its 100th exit. US-listed SolarWinds take over 8MAN, a cybersecurity startup. So there's that. We have a Christmas survey by Deloitte, Germany. I always say Deloitte. It's like a little...
Oh, don't worry, everything's fine.
For me, it's a little German, French restaurant. Deloitte.
Go
ahead. Where people could make several choices, but 68% of Germans say they would shop in retail stores this year for Christmas. 67% said they would shop online, which is actually a decline compared to 2017, but the growth of mobile also stagnated at 24%. So a tiny little hint towards the renaissance of the brick and mortar, maybe, which would be very counterintuitive to everything else we talked about for years. But yeah. Then the UK, France, Germany, and Spain are driving Europe's AI ecosystem, contributing 60% of startups there, labs, communities across 30 countries. This all comes out of a Roland Berger study called Joining the Dots, a map of Europe's AI ecosystem. And the last thing we found in our ecosystem section is about crypto asset prices, which are down 80 to 95% in US dollar terms over the last year, but they could and probably will go even lower. Amazon was down 80% a year into the post-bubble bear market, and it got cut in half again. More about that you can find at AVC, and the link is in our show notes.
It's actually a very good blog. That's why it's here. Media partnerships. We have been to the Blockchain Startup Summit on 15th of November at Frankfurt School here in Germany, in Frankfurt, as you can imagine, together with eustartups.com. We did an interview with the winner of the blockchain pitch competition, Even Networks, with Thomas Müller, not the famous soccer player. They bring heavy machinery on the blockchain. Funny side fact about it is he almost missed his award because he was in the interview with us. We have also been attending, landed in London. Videos will be coming up soon, but you can already look at the little mashup we put on our Instagram account. Housekeeping. Meet the 100 most innovative startups of Germany in 2018, writes Forbes. Frankfurt is present fintech heavy, including robo-advisor Jinmon, InsurTech Clark, and the blockchain accelerator Iconic Lab, who, by the way, relocated from Berlin to Frankfurt. You'll find the interview with the CEO and founder of Clark Germany here as an audio-only podcast link. Danish edtech startup Write Reader raises 1.4 million to improve students' writing skills. Write eustartups.com. You can learn more about the startups and the founder in this video interview we did 2017 at Frankfurt Book Fair, because they've been a member of the Content Shift Accelerator program. Wiesbaden, which is capital of Hessen, Wiesbaden State based Schuhe24 buys 40% stake in We Want Shoes. The price was not disclosed, but We Want Shoes enables more than 18,500 sellers, meaning small sellers, retailers, to order directly from producers, writes Deutsche Startups. You can learn more about the founder here in our exclusive interview we put up this spring, and they already announced their attention there. European early stage technology investment increases fourfold. Oops, that's wrong. That both would be belonging to the ecosystem again. Sorry, let's move it into the ecosystem again. Here we go. European early stage technology investments increased fourfold to 3.6 billion euros in the first half 2018. Investors like fintech, medtech startups. Germany scores number 2 in fintech investments with over 402 million, and the 31 European unicorns ranked by valuation by CB Insights. It has quite some surprises for Germany. Ottoplock Healthcare, Celonis, About You, Nucom, Coveac, heavy in research and healthcare here for Germany.
Yeah,
Okay.
Ottoplock is really an interesting company for like decades, even centuries. They are very good in prothesis. How do you say that? Yeah. So yeah, it's really,
Artificial limbs, right?
yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, since you've been talking so much, I'm going to take over Frankfurt now, even though it's your
You're
hometown.
amazing.
Talk about the hubs there. So Form Next 2018 in Frankfurt, reviewing 26 key learnings for marketing folks. They came up with a little article or wrap up about this. There's also a lot about 3D printing.
We may add Form Next is something like B2B trade fair taking place here at Frankfurt Fair, Frankfurter Messe. Sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, no, all good. Then there is the venture capital investor Project A and the private equity investment company Briegel, which decided to acquire the Frankfurt-based travel company Trend Tours Touristik, a company that's already 14 years old and generated around 300 million euros in revenue in 2017 and has 400,000 clients per year. So already a pretty mature company. Avalok is setting up a venture fund to invest in budding technology startups. It's a banking software firm enlisting prominent finance and media experts for the investment arm, including Philipp Sandner from Frankfurt.
Yeah, from Frankfurt. He's one of the professors of Frankfurt School of Management and Finance, and he was the one behind the blockchain startup summer we talked about earlier. Here you go.
Marie-Louise Sessler, who's a founder and colleague of the Innovation Lab at Frankfurter Sparkasse. Thrift Frankfurt is mentioned on the business publication Capital's list of top 40 under 40. So congratulations to that. SAP, the software company, buys Qualtrics. 2018 catapulted to $65 billion is that in valuation? No. What were you? Oh, I haven't looked at this, I have to say. Anyway, in $101 billion plus M&A volume. The Würzburg-based strategic purchasing platform Scout B raised $4 million in financing and funding. Congratulations to that. And Frankfurt-based ride-sharing app Flink was bought by Daimler. And so there's another signal that the legacy car manufacturers in Germany are very much looking into that space about of the future of mobility. Now the Flink team says goodbye. The startup, shuts down for good in their blog. I think it's mostly about their technology there.
Yeah,
The
they
integration.
actually got moved into all the mobility offerings. Mercedes or Daimler is aggregating in Berlin. So basically, they bought the technology, they shut down the company here. And as far as I understand, most of the founders are already out doing other stuff.
Yeah. And the last one from Frankfurt is Frankfurt-based fintech Cashlink says goodbye to peer-to-peer payments. They're working on a blockchain-based platform for company stakes or company shares for professional investors called Stokera.
And with the founder and CEO, Michael Duttlinger, who's also one of the co-organizers of the Frankfurt FinTech Meetup, we are going to have an exclusive video interview this December. Munich is one of the top 15 European biggest startup hubs in 2018, writes eustartups.com. It also includes Berlin. Nuremberg. We like to point out other places where there's something going on. Kiveda moved from Berlin to Nuremberg. They already raised 35.5 million euros venture capital for the built-in kitchens, but show only headline growth of 9.1%. And Würzburg, which is also not too far away from Frankfurt, based AI startup Scoutbee raises 4 million US dollars venture capital from Hotspring Ventures and 42 cap in a seed round. The tool collects and analyzes data to match purchasers and suppliers.
Okay, so
Now
double
we're
shout
the
out to
companies.
Scoutbee.
Sorry?
Shout out to Scoutbee, because I also had it in the small Frankfurt section. But yeah, good for Würzburg and Scoutbee.
Yes, of course.
Moving on to a couple of more companies. First off, some who acquired venture capital. For example, we have the Berlin-based incubator FinLeap that raised 41.5 million euros to build more fintech startups. Then Movinga raised 15 million euro and plans to expand its relocation services all across Europe. And Berlin-based Wind Mobility raised 22 million euros venture capital for its e-scooter rental service. Investors here also include Holzbring Ventures and China-based VC Source Code Capital. So what we see in the US in terms of the scooter wars, it's also coming to bigger European and German cities, it seems.
Of course it does. Then there's German billionaire Stefan Quandt, who is one of the majority shareholders in BMW. It's very rare that such investments come to light, but when they do, we have them here. He invests, or one of his investment vehicles, invest in Kassel-based drone warning system D-Drone, which is already used by police, military, and private organizations like the World Economic Forum. Point9 and Creadum invest in logistics startup Cargo One. German airline Lufthansa already invested before in a pre-seed round with a convertible loan, reports Deutsche Startups exclusively. Berlin-based Introtep Simple Assurance raised recently 24 million US dollars in a venture capital Series C round. Now the research of Deutsche Startups.io reveals the convertible loan saved the company end of 2016. So they apparently made the turnaround. Congratulations. Platform for used cars are already known. Now this Berlin-based platform used for wrist watches raises 13 million US venture capital, and last but not least, 22.5 million US dollars venture capital for Berlin-based AI startup Omnius,
I have a
reports
very
Deutsche
nice
Startup.
watch, as you can see. I can only recommend Carl Edmond. It's a very good, I think, Danish company.
Yes, it is. For everybody who's wondering, I have a little cough. That's why I'm muting myself and duck myself out. I don't want to have it in the recording.
Moving on to blockchain, crypto, Bitcoin. Do you have Bitcoin investments, by the way?
No, I don't. I actually, you see in our YouTube blog, there's some ICO marketing videos marked as sponsored content, and I get paid for them with the tokens. That's the only one I own. I once bought a Bitcoin token for part of it for 100 euros. later sold it for 700 and then realized, oh, look, I still have Bitcoin Cash there, which I then sold, I think, another year later for almost 400, and that was all I did in active investment there. So,
well, it went down now anyway, so probably you did the right thing. Anyway, there was a Bitcoin rigging criminal probe focused on ties to Tether. We have some information about that in the show notes. And Envion, one of the big stories of the German crypto scene, they raised 100 million with their ICO, but the product was never realized, and some shareholders sued one another. Now, 4 of their founders are starting Rise, and Gründerszene points out some of the stranger background coincidences there.
yes, they do advertisement very much targeting the get rich fast people with the big cars with Rise on it and all this stuff. Rocket Internet Corner, a staple of our YouTube blog and podcast here. Frankfurt listed HelloFresh increases revenue by almost 40% to 302.2 million with an EBITDA loss of 26 million euros. Listed online fashion retailer Zalando disappoints with Q3 numbers. Now they are looking at Christmas season to accomplish the goal of 25% revenue growth. And Travelbird, financed by Rocket Internet with 32.1 million euros venture capital, has to file for insolvency. The Dutch startup once had 650 employees. Now they are down to 310, reports Deutsche Startups. Whew.
Yeah.
Okay. Now single company news. I think that's
Yeah, it's a bit complicated market space there. So there's Klarna, which is one of the leading. How would you say this? Like it's a company that helps you to easier log into different bank accounts and does help you manage your cash streams.
yes, some type of payment fintech related
Yeah.
startup.
Yeah. So Klarna sues the German fintech SofortPay, which was founded by former employees of Sofortüberweisung, basically everyone's in the same space. Sofortüberweisung was bought by Klarna, so there might be some conflicts of interest there.
Deutsche Bahn writes down project InnoSet, formerly hailed as a light tower project for mobility in Berlin. This comes after T-Systems and Siemens already left the project, reports Gründerszene.
Yeah. Chefkoch.de, which is the biggest German database for recipes, is one of
It's amazing. I love it. I love it. You can always get lots of good recipes there. Have you ever used it? I love it. You get American Thanksgiving recipes there.
Everyone there is very friendly with one another. The pictures sometimes look very 70s and 80s, like salad that my aunt would make or something. But everyone there is so friendly in terms of, wow, you cut your red peppers really nicely. So there's a good vibe. In general, there's a good vibe on Chef Koch. Yeah.
Right. I was interrupting you. You want to do it again, Christian?
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. They now have an online shop for cooking accessories. First, Konstantin Schwab founded a platform for cinema tickets called Kinoheld, which was bought by Eventim, a platform for tickets and all this stuff. Now he's raising millions, undisclosed amount, venture capital for his e-mobility startup, which provided software as a service solution for charging station management. You can learn more here in the show notes.
Lesara is another one of the companies that unfortunately have to close down. It was one of the bearers of hope for Berlin startup scene as a whole. And it would have now needed more money, but the investors didn't want to give any more money, so the e-commerce company had to close down and file for insolvency.
Eventually, Apple Pay to start in Germany in cooperation with, and that's important news, Deutsche Bank, Comdirect, N26, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, and others. So they already have a big amount of cooperation partners. Let's see if they can make it in cash-heavy Germany.
Galaxus, a major online department store from Switzerland, has also launched in Germany, which is always fascinating to me. That still a lot of companies are trying to get into that space. Galaxus Deutschland will start as an electronics retailer, but in the next few months also become a wide range online store, and it wants to become one of the top 5 e-commerce players.
Actually, I was wondering whether or not more e-commerce store. For example, I do believe that if you can build up a European-wide brand, there's a lot of space for somebody who sells really, really high-end stuff like 75-inch plus TVs and all that fancy stuff you can barely get on any other retailer.
Yeah, I think there are definitely ideas in the market that you could pursue, even things like I don't know, like the wire cutter model, where you can just see, okay, this is the best of the best, buy this thing once, and then that's it. And then you have the Amazons and Alibabas who do the other stuff. But yeah.
Yeah. If you have the capital for it, reach out to me. Catering is the new hot topic in the Berlin startup scene. There are already Lemon Cat, Hey Cater, and Cater Wings. Now there's a new kit on the block called, German name, Mein Wunsch Catering, which claims profitability from the start.
German media company Pro7sat.1 acquires the US-based eHarmony, which is a dating website, and the company already invested in dating websites in Germany with Elite Partner and Parship. So Pro7sat.1 becoming an even bigger player there.
And the last one, Berlin-based banking startup Solaris Bank can only show 1.9 million euros in revenue in B2B, where it works with fintechs. The bank raised 95 million euros venture capital and invested 24.5 million euros already to build up its banking platform. So it's very capital intensive. And then we do have some know-how for those with vision. Stay ahead of the curve. Research shows Immigrant helps businesses to grow. A guide to corporate innovation, unbundling the autonomous vehicle, Germany's family-run companies, and incubements and wake patent analysis of top US banks. You can learn more down here in the show notes. That was a fast one, Christian.
Yes. Yeah. Moving on, I'm now going, which is also a mildly startup related thing. I'm now going to something called Cave Day. You can find out more at caveday.org, and it's a little startup that organizes deep work sessions in co-working spaces. So you would go there, you would give them your smartphone. I did it already for a full day, and it made me it allowed me to make great progress on my book proposal from like 8 pages to 22 pages. And they already also offer half days. And basically, yeah, if you hold everyone holds each other accountable, because you say in the beginning what you want to be working on, and then you have focused work sprints. It's really cool.
Awesome. Great. So we get together for the Startup News December again. That should be very close to Christmas when we publish it. And until then, enjoy the pre-Christmas time because it's awesome.
Yeah, I saw you baking already. I like it too. Tschüss.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
That's all, folks. Find more news, streams, events, and interviews at www.startuprad.io. Remember, sharing is caring.